Hello, everybody. This is Christopher Rosales coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, here to present my visual argument for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Leading Hero. We're going to be breaking this visual argument down bracket style, like you would fill out a March Madness bracket, but instead we took the heroes of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, put them all into a bracket, and we have one lucky winner. There's already a hint on the first page, but we'll get into it here in a little bit. Now, when you're looking at my final draft, there was definitely a journey, just like the characters went through a journey of how I got to it. And I want to give a special thanks to Professor Kaiser for supporting me through the position essay, through the multiple rough drafts. Also, my peer Sean, we've never met, but he gave me some valuable feedback that I also incorporated into my final. And really, the transition from the brainstorm process all the way through the final product was I initially done a sketch of what I'm about to show you. I felt it was going to be more raw, more genuine. But going through the drafts, it didn't allow me to put as much rhetorical components that I wanted to. So I wanted to make it a little more cleaner. Also, I didn't initially provide reasons as to why each person lost in their matchup. So that was also added into it with a little bit of exaggeration from a rhetorical component standpoint. So let's dive right in. And as we get into this visual argument final, my setting of where I would want this displayed is a San Antonio Comic Con. I have a booth, it's right there in the front, and it just speaks for itself. So that way, anybody walking by, they could just read it, say, oh, yeah, this guy's right, and move forward. So that is the ultimate goal. And here's my visual argument. One of the videos that we had seen earlier in the semester is that when people shop, they tend to go to the right hand side first. So I took that same concept with placing the Lord of the Rings poster on the right hand side, so that way it could quickly catch somebody's eye walking through Comic Con, walking past my booth. So any of the audience that is into Lord of the Rings movies, the books, the characters, that would automatically grab their eye. Then as you look to the left, I strategically placed the Middle Earth map right in the middle and also made it larger than all the other images because I wanted to make it known that the person I selected is the leading hero of all Middle Earth, not just certain parts of Middle Earth. And to the left hand side, you may be thinking, well, what am I using to define a hero? True heroism is remarkably sober, very undramatic. It is not the urge to surpass all others at whatever cost, but the urge to serve others at whatever cost, by Arthur Ashe. And that is what I'm using to gauge the winners of each matchup. So as we move down to the bracket, I want to talk about some rhetorical components that I used. As I go from the first rounds all the way to the end round, every winner increases by one font. They start off at 18 in round one, 19 in round two, 20 in round three, and the winner has a 22 size font. Just to clearly paint that they are the superior, they are growing as they keep moving forward, and also 22 is my favorite number. The other thing is you notice that the winners are all black border with white inside, so black and white. Any argument is black and white. So I wanted to make sure there's no gray area. So I wanted to make sure that those rhetorical components of font and color are also displayed in there. And then if you notice, the losers are gray because of the gray area, so that's why they lose. When you're looking at exaggeration standpoint, and also this was some feedback that I alluded to a little earlier, is that each loser has a quote unquote rubber stamp, and I hope this was what you were referring to, Professor Kaiser, as to why they lost. Real simple, real clean, but let's go through it together. So on the right hand side, I have Samwise Gamgee against Gimli. Gimli loses, he's too arrogant. Legolas against Boromir. Boromir tries stealing the ring. Come on, Legolas, let's move forward. As you're breaking down Samwise Gamgee and Legolas, Legolas was more the faithful soldier than he was a leading hero. So that's why Samwise Gamgee moves forward. Before I get into who actually won, now I want to move to the left hand side of the bracket. You have Aragorn against Frodo. Remember why Frodo has 9.5 rings? Aragon, move on forward. Gandalf against Merry and Pippin. They're both fools of a toque. I understand they're not both toques, but they're part of this. They're both cousins. They act like brothers. They were paired together. They are both fools of a toque from the movie. Gandalf moves forward. As you look at Aragon against Gandalf, Gandalf was more the wise uncle. He's been in places before. He was the GPS. And yes, he did lead them into a few different areas, but he always looked to Aragon for guidance. Aragon is the true hero between this matchup. Aragon moves forward. As you look at Aragon against Samwise Gamgee, these are basically both sides of the journey throughout the movie. And Samwise Gamgee ultimately was the best friend that helped out Frodo. Aragorn was the leader who initially took the knee and told Frodo, "You have my sword." Then, all the way to the end of the movie, on one of the very last scenes, Aragorn looks to his depleted army as he faces an extreme amount of orcs and says, "For Frodo," and runs into his potential death. Without that, they could not have destroyed the ring and cleared the way for them to go to Mount Doom. So Aragon is my leading hero out of this bracket. I hope you all enjoyed my visual argument. I look forward to working with you all down the road, and I wish you all the best of luck in your careers going forward. Thank you. Oh, and also here is my bibliography for the sources that I use. Thank you.